Hello boys and girls, it's me again, old Hamish MacKay, the gamer from Skye. And in this episode we're going to look at how to put our objects into rooms and make them do things by using events. So let's get cracking, let's get our game on. What we're going to do in this little video is start getting our wee objects to do things in the game. At the minute, if we put them in the room, they wouldn't do anything. They would just sit there and be a bit like a big lumpet thing that's no good to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the little actions that let them do things. I'm going to start with an easy one, the controller. I'm going to double click on object controller. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some actions to it that'll happen whenever it's on the screen. So I'm going to make it visible. I'm going to add an event. And the thing I'm going to do first is to say what happens whenever the controller first appears in the game. So I'm going to click create. Anything that I add, any actions I add to the create event happen at the very start of the game whenever the controller is put on the screen. Now, what do I want to do? Well, I want to use a controller to keep the score and to keep the number of lives and to show that. So, at the start, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the score tab down here, and you see that there are a number of wee actions that we can use for score and for lives and for a wee health bar if we're doing that sort of game. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag over the set score action, and I'm going to set the score to be 0 at the start of the game. Then I'm going to drag over the set lives action, and I'm going to set the number of lives to be 3. So the person will start the game with 3 lives. So at the start, when the event happens, the create event, those 2 actions will take place. Now I'm going to add another wee event, and this is going to be an event to draw things up on the screen. So I'm going to pick the draw event. It's a draw event is the draw event. Now that we've got our wee draw event, let's add some actions to it. We'll go to score, and what we're interested in is putting the score up on the screen. So we'll click on draw score and move it over. Now I've already worked out that the place it needs to be is 520 pixels over and 5 pixels down. And I click OK. And I'm going to do the same thing, only for the lives. And it's going to be 520 pixels down and across, and 20 pixels down. And click OK. Click OK to close that. Then I'm going to click in the room and I'm going to put in my wee controller. If I maximise that, then you'll see it properly. I've got the object controller selected, and I just click anywhere with this one. It doesn't really show up. There's no sprite. Click on the tick, click on the green, and let's see what can be seen. And there you go, score 0, lives 3. And that's our first wee set of actions done, and we'll next look at the wee hero and see if we get him sorted out. So let's get started moving the wee hero around. If we put him on the room at the minute, he'd just sit there like a big stir dog. So we're going to double click on him, or maximise this, and we're going to start adding actions and events. So, to start off, we need to make sure that he always stays on the grid. If he doesn't stay on the grid, he'll get stuck on a wall and won't be able to move, and that would be tragic. So we're going to click Add Event, Step, Begin Step. So every time, about 30 times a second, when GameMaker does one of its fancy steps, we're going to check something, and we're going to check if he's on the grid. So we go to Control, we choose Check Grid, and we're going to tell it that it's a 40 by 40 grid that he's got to be on. So if he's on the grid, then we can make him do things. And that's what we drag in a wee block to tell him that he can move around the place. Now to start off with, to make it easy for us, we want them to be sitting still. So in the move fixed event, we click the middle and set the speed to 0, so he won't do anything. Click OK, and we also want to make sure that we can change what he looks like, so he's looking to the left. So click on main 1 and drag over this one. This changes the sprite, so he's always looking over to his left hand side, and click OK. Back to control, and in control we end the block. So a reaction is attached to an event that happens in the begin step multiple times a minute, and we click OK if we're finished, but we've other things to add in. Now let's get it going, let's get moving our little hero. We're going to click add event, we're going to click on keyboard, and from keyboard we're going to click left. So when we press the left key, we want them to do something. And the first thing that we're going to do is to check the grid, because if he's not on the grid, we can't get him to do anything at all. So if instance is aligned with grid, and the grid is 40 by 40, if he's not on the grid, click OK. We're going to tell the whole thing to stop, because he would just walk into the wall. So if the character isn't on the grid, we stop and we can't go left. Now we need to do a wee check to see there's nothing in his way to the left, so he doesn't walk into the wall, and we're going to use this one here. This is called check object, and it makes the character look to his left and check for an object. Now we want him not to walk into the wall, so we want him to look out for the wall. So we choose object wall, and we want him to look on the left, and on the left is minus 40. Remember, it's a 40 by 40 grid, so the person is 40 pixels wide, and we want them to check minus 40 to his left. So we make it relative. That means he always checks to his left no matter where he is. And we also choose not, so we want them to check that there's nothing there, and if there's nothing there, then he can start doing things. So we're going to start another wee block. So this is what he'll do if there's nothing to his left. He's going to go and he's going to move. So click on the move tab, choose move fixed, and we want to click on the left arrow and tell him to move at a speed, and we're going to call it 5, and click OK. Then we also want him to look like he's walking to the left, so we're going to change his sprite. So go to main 1, drag over change sprite, and we're going to change it into sprite hero left, and click OK. So he'll move if he's got space on his left, so we can close that wee block. But what happens if there's something there? We've got to tell him what to do, so we use else. So if there's nothing there, he can go, otherwise else he's going to have to stay where he is. So we open a block, and we use the move again, and we use move and fixed, and we stand still man, and click OK. And then we close off our wee block. So let's go through what all this complex stuff is saying. The first thing it does is check he's on the grid. If he's no on the grid, he can't move, so it exits. Then it checks to see if there's something to his left, because we want them to move to his left. And if there's nothing there at minus 40, no wall, then he can start to do things. And he does a wee block of things. He starts moving to the left with a speed of 5. And he changes into somebody who looks like they're moving to the left. And then that's the end of that wee block. We've also got to tell him what to do if there is something there. So we use the else. And in the else, we've told them just to stand still. like a big lump. So there you go, we have him moving to his left. Now we're going to go on and look and see how we can move him to his right and then up and down, and we'll be finished with him. Now I don't know about you, but I'm a lazy big lump and I like to do things the easy way. So we could do all that all over again and just change a couple of numbers to make him move to the right. Or we can use our noggin. We can cheat. I'm going to right click and go to duplicate event, and it will copy everything that's in there, and we only need to go in and make a few wee changes. So duplicate event. Now it asks me what I want to add it to. I'm going to go to keyboard and we're going to make him go to the right this time. So I clicked on the right. Now at the minute it's exactly the same set of steps. He checks the grid, but we need to change a couple. We need to change this check for an object, and we need to change what direction he moves in. So I'm going to double click on if there's an object at position. Now we're moving to the right, so he needs to check at 40, not at -40. And we also need to go in and double click on start moving in the direction and just change this from left to right. And off we go. There, we've changed it all, but we need to change the sprite, and we're going to change him to sprite hero right. And click OK. Wasn't that easy, boys and girls? Not so much work in that one. We're going to do it again. We're going to right click, duplicate event, but we want them to move up. So we click on up, and we need to make those changes again. If there's an object at a position, well, we need to check that there's nothing up above him, and up above him, X is 0, Y is up above him, and Y is -40. So if there's nothing at -40, off he goes and he can walk, and we're going to start moving in a direction that's up the way. Click OK. We're going to change him into sprite hero left. We could make it better in the future by having the sprite for up and the sprite for down. That's one way you could improve it. Now we're going to duplicate this event and make it for, oh, you guessed it, you're smart, you Waynes, down. This time we're going to change it, and Y is going to be 40. And he's going to move, well now, he's going to move down. Click OK, and there you have it. Your wee character can go into the game and he can move left, right, up and down to his heart's content. Click OK to finish working on him. So let's see if all our hard work's paid off. We're going to double click in the room. We'll maximise it, and we'll think about adding our wee hero. So I'm going to choose Object Hero. Here goes, girls and boys. I'm a wee bit nervous. I'm going to click on it. That's him in the room. Oh dear, I'll click OK. And now let's go. Oh, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Let's see. I'm trying to go left. Oh, he won't work. That's brilliant. He can't go left. There's a wall. But what? Oh, he goes right. Oh my. And he goes up. Oh, wonderful. He goes down as well. So there, we've done it. That's the hardest part, is getting the wee man to move. Isn't that marvellous? Oh, it's so exciting. Next time in the video, we'll look at all the other little objects and add events to them. See you later. I'm so excited by my game.